You are now listening to Out of the Blank.
Welcome to Out of the Blank podcast. I'm here with Ben Clench. Ben, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm normal in many respects, but I had a major accident in 2010 that kind of ripped my life apart. I almost died and managed to survive.
Well, can you explain a little bit about the accident? Like, were you in a plane crash? Did you fall off the toilet?
Neither of those things. I got run over when I was visiting my then girlfriend, who was working in Haiti for the earthquake recovery, and she was working for the UN at the time. And then she had like a week's R&R she could take. So we both went to the Dominican Republic to relax for a week and spend some time together.
So what exactly were you run over by?
Well, it was on our last day, and just before we were about to go back to Haiti, and I was supposed to drop her off and then fly back to England. And we went out for a meal, and we finished our meal, and we were walking back on the pavement, and we were 1 block away from our hotel, and a car lost control, jumped onto the pavement, and hit us both, instantly killing my girlfriend and knocking me into a coma.
Wow, man. I mean, what type of stuff have you faced? I mean, obviously the emotional kind of impact from all that, but I'm guessing your mind's a little bit slower just because of trying to cope with that traumatic brain injury.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's slower. It needs
More processing time.
well, yeah, I guess so. But also, I need assistance with writing technical stuff for international development, which is what I did before. So, I mean, I am still recovering, still getting better, and the time I need is certainly decreasing as we go through it.
Can I ask you something? When you got hit by this vehicle, waking up in the hospital, like, can you explain to me from your side what that was like, just waking up? Because I've had a buddy who's gotten into a car accident, someone very close to me, and
Yeah.
it was from drinking and driving, and he killed his passenger. And he woke up, and half of his skull was fractured. His foot got ripped off. He had so many things. He was literally not unable to move for so long, and no one told him that he lost his friend in the car with him
Yeah.
until 3 days after he was in the hospital, already kind of thinking again and being able to kind of recover. And I want to know from your side what that was like, because hearing him explain his side from being in the hospital, there's so much inner turmoil and emotions that people don't even realize.
Well, I mean, Yeah, okay. I mean, it's different for everybody. But I mean, waking up, I couldn't remember anything. Uh, you know, best thing that I ever did was I got £10 health insurance for the trip, and I have to say that is the best £10 I ever spent.
Yeah. And talk about a lucky coincidence too. The fact that you're like, most people just want to travel without insurance, and next thing you know, something like that happens. You got lucky. I mean, £10 just for that, and you got in a severe car accident.
Yeah, well, it was £10, and then but not only did they then get me into a really good hospital in the Dominican Republic. They then flew me back to England, still in a coma, and we, flew from Haiti to Montreal, then to Labrador, Iceland, and then the UK. And so I woke up in an English hospital, and waking up is just like, I mean, you're waking up from practically dying. The only thing that was keeping me alive was the fact that my heart was still going. Other than that, I was dead. Um, and you don't wake up and start processing. I wake up and I didn't know who anyone was, who the people around me were, who were my parents, my family. There was I couldn't speak, I couldn't walk. It was going back to zero. It's like
Well,
it's
that's what I meant by processing, because when I speak processing, I mean like everything from learning how to talk again, from learning how to kind of understand what people are saying. It takes a minute. You can tell the process is slowered. Now,
yeah,
when I'm saying like me being able to think up stuff on the fly, being able to answer questions quickly, this is a common thing with traumatic brain injury survivors. Like the fact that you impacted the skull is so fragile, no one really understands that. A lot of people think, I want to go explore space, I want to see other planets. We need to focus on this thing that is right inside of our head, that is so important to us, that the fact that I could hit my head in a certain way and I could speak a completely different accent than where I'm from.
yeah,
And when you're talking about yours experience, it's just by talking to you, it's no offense to you, but it's saying that there's something a little bit different. And when it comes to that, is because usually people already give an automatic response. You seem like you have to search a little bit harder for yours. And I've talked to my buddy who's been in a car accident, and hearing him talk, he has to sit for a minute, think of what you just said, and then have to respond back to it. And seeing him kind of, he gets frustrated with it.
yeah.
Yeah, and I tell him, I'm like, that's no fault of that's no fault of your own for not being able to understand that and answer back that quick. You went through something and experienced something that changed you as a person. Do you
Yeah.
think that this accident that you had has changed you overall, not just the way like physical and emotional, but like inside, you feel like you've become a completely different person?
No, I would say no, not really. I still have the same motivation and drive I had before. It's just, things I don't have the same opportunities I had before. Um, but that's kind of, in a way, that's a good thing, that I'm having to rediscover a place for me in the world, and the fact that, it's things have come along, and I am making the most of it to get back to where I was, just in a different route and different setting. But it's amazing that people have given me those opportunities, you know.
Who's been the most beneficial in your life? Would you say a lot of people are open to talking to you, or do you feel like a lot of people are closed off?
No, I would say a lot of people are very open to talking to me and to understanding and hearing what's happened, but also about where I am now and what I want to develop. So I mean, I'm very lucky to have that support.
Well,
Uh,
what exactly are you trying to develop?
what am I trying to develop? Well, you know, I want to get back into the work I was doing before, but I've become a speaker as well. You know, I've written a book about what happened to me. Um, I did a TEDx last year in Brighton, UK. That was rated the best of all of the speakers that day out of 17 people. And, you know, I think that's quite an accomplishment.
Wait, so it was rated the best for that year?
Sorry?
It was
Yeah,
rated the best
yeah,
for that year?
yeah. From 17 speakers out of a 1,600 person audience, they rated me the best speaker of that day.
Do you think it's because you had such an impactful message compared to everybody else?
Uh, yeah, in a way. And also, I mean, like, the thing about talking about, you know, what happened, I mean, you can create so many highs and lows for people to go through and realize. I mean, you know, start with my talk, people are like, what are you talking about? You know, how does this work? And then they hear it more and they start to understand. And you know, it was a great talk, and it was really, I think, was something that everyone could take
How
from it.
well, how hard was it for you to kind of adjust your life after getting out of the hospital? Like, what are the steps you took?
Well, the steps I took was, well, they were difficult. I mean, to start with, it was just how to be a person again. You know, how to do everything again. I mean, when I first got let out of hospital, um, my parents drove me back to their place, and no one told us that you might get motion sickness in a car. Um, but that's exactly what happened. I was like feeling so sick. I had to lie down because I couldn't handle it.
Yeah. I mean, you got to think like the worst thing we put you in is anything that does quick movements and like adjust turns like that, because you've already experienced like your brain getting in the most like trauma ever. So it's
Yeah,
like everything's already really, really hazy, first of all. And then also you're experiencing things what seems to be way more sensitive than what you would normally be experiencing because your brain's already at like critical level. It's like, all right, one more thing and I'm shutting it off.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
it's common with do you get interested in any of the stuff going on today with the football and sports, like boxers, that the two boxers that recently passed away, and how like we're seeing that there's a link between football and CDP, like people are like getting severe brain injury and like dying at younger ages and forgetting how to do stuff.
No, I don't know that much about it, but I can imagine it. Yeah,
Well, imagine your brain is practically you in a car. Your skull is the car.
yeah,
So now imagine you're driving, but there's no seatbelts.
yeah,
So if you get bumped from behind, your brain goes forward and hits the front, like you're basically hitting the windshield of the car, and then you
Yeah,
come back and then you rock right back. So it's just going to sit there and bounce around in your skull until it stops.
yeah. And that was, the issue I had. I had traumatic brain injury, and it was basically that my brain had been shaken so much that all the connections that were there in between, the neurons were lost. So it was starting from zero, from beginning.
Do you find it that your fascination with how the human mind work has changed since your accident?
Um, well,
You can't tell me you just experienced something like that and then didn't want to find out more about the brain and how it clicks.
no. I mean, I do, but I'm surprising myself as I'm, still alive and living, and just how much does come back. It takes a long time, believe me. I mean, I can remember my girlfriend that died in the crash for 2 years. And then when that came back, my God, that wasn't feelings of grief. That was just like, God, my brain's actually working again. Things coming back. That's fantastic.
That's an optimistic way to think of it for sure, because a lot of people that would experience that would take that into severe depression. I commend you for taking it in a positive light, at least like you are remembering what's happening again.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, after, you have 2 years to try and, sort yourself out as much as possible. And you get told by doctors, if you haven't remembered her by now, you probably won't remember her. And then the fact that, it comes back just from one day to the next, it's absolutely incredible. There's nothing to be scared or sorry about. It's just, my brain's bloody working again.
Yeah, it's like unlocking secrets and mysteries about yourself.
Yeah, totally.
What I like, have you like obviously like how hard is it for you to go out in public scenarios? Do you do it by yourself? Like obviously you probably have trouble walking. So I'm guessing that like a lot of people are kind of either freaked out or try and pity you in a certain type of way.
No, I mean, I don't have trouble walking. I mean, um, the one thing about the accident, I had no broken bones, and
How is that possible if you got hit by a vehicle?
it's unbelievable. But I mean, I didn't have any broken bones.
Well, where did you exactly get hit? Obviously, you had brain trauma, but were you run over like tired to the head, or were you just like hit
No.
from this?
So it ran. I mean, that's what killed my girlfriend because she was stuck under the car, and so it totally, you know, obliterated her body. For me, I was hit. I think I must have tried to jump out the way. So I was hit on the right hand side or the left hand side. I don't know. Um, but it threw me off into the road. Um, so I mean, in that way, I was incredibly lucky. But then, even more lucky, the car behind us uh, was full of doctors from the local hospital.
Man, you were get with this giant accident, you had a stroke of a lot of luck before and after.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, for that, there's nothing to be. I mean, it's just incredible that I'm alive, And the fact that the doctors were in the car in front and they stopped, I heard it. They reversed, They saw what happened. They saw that obviously my girlfriend was dead and was under the car, but the fact that I could survive, and they drove me straight to hospital, and that undoubtedly saved my life.
Are you remorseful for anything? I know that's like a stupid question to ask, but a lot of people, like, you look back and you said you see all these things as part of your life, but the fact that you're taking it in strides, that saying you're alive and trying to think of it in an optimistic way. I mean, I've talked to many people with brain trauma before, and they all seem like, yeah, they're happy that they're alive now, but they still have flashbacks. My buddy still wakes up when he's putting on his shirt and sees all these scars and sees all these, you know, wounds that he has, and he carries them like a trophy, but they impact him every single morning seeing that. Like, he talks about how he can't do some stuff anymore, but he goes and educates children on drinking and driving. He's trying to make the place better so people don't experience what he did. And seeing him take that dramatic change and then also be remorseful and remember his actions. Do you try and do the same thing?
Well, yes and no. I mean, I speak about my story of survival, but it's not. I mean, I don't feel remorseful for it. I just feel so lucky that I'm here. You know, it was an accident, total accident.
Would you say it's like a miracle of, I guess, life, or would you chalk it up to some type of religious thing is the reason why you're alive today?
Oh no, I'm not religious.
Yeah, that's
But
what most people turn to when they get into a brain injury or something like that, and they get in a terrible accident.
oh yeah, but I mean, there was no religion about my survival. I mean, it's amazing that I am alive, but I there is no God. There was nothing that made me think about God when I woke up. I was just like confused.
Yeah, it was you experiencing everything. You had to make the change. Nobody was helping you out besides the doctors and other people that were there every step of the way.
Yeah. And it was. I mean, it's it's about yourself and how you can deal with it.
When you said you were relearning how to write and everything, was that difficult to see that you weren't at the level you were at before?
Um, was it difficult? No, it was a reality. There was no. Um,
You're telling me you would write after the accident. Your handwriting probably wasn't as good as it was before. You weren't probably able to maybe even hold something like a pencil for very long. It obviously was probably really a lot for your brain to process. You didn't experience any type of like frustration that you were, or being scared that you weren't going to get back to the level you were at before. Because I can tell you right now, everyone I've talked to on brain trauma, even if I were going to have brain trauma, I would be frustrated that I would not be at the point of where I was before. The fact that it's going to be a long ass journey back.
yeah, but yeah, okay, it's annoying, but to be honest, I've kind of been through the annoyance, and slowly but surely, almost 10 years on, my handwriting is getting better, and it's things are becoming more normal. Just everything takes such a long time, and it's so slow. But when it does come back, I'm amazed. I'm just like, my God. I went to a wedding on Saturday, and people were then, writing notes to the bride and groom. And I was like, oh God, I'm not sure I can do that. And people were like, well, one girl was like, no, go on, write something. And then I was like, okay, I'll give it a try. And I could. And it was like, oh God, I don't remember being able to write it properly. It used to be a nightmare.
Well, I mean, the fact that, like, where do you see technology helping you, at least on your journey back or journey to progress a little bit of coming back from this accident? Because a lot of people look at technology nowadays as not really a thing that's important anymore. It seems like most kids are just on it playing stupid games on their phone, when it probably helped you like very, very much, just with recovering and everything of that sort.
No, technology didn't help me. I mean,
What do you mean technology didn't help you? The machines that were keeping you functioning after your accident?
oh yeah, but when I was in a coma, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
that's technology, man. I mean, all the things that helped, probably you had to do some physical therapy too, I'm guessing, right? You have to take classes to relearn how to write. I'm not talking about the stupid little cell phone we all carry around in our pockets. I'm talking about the machines that basically kept you functioning with the doctors.
Yeah. They kept me alive, definitely. Um, but I mean, that was well, I got hit on the 18th of September, and I was in a coma for a month, and then I got let out of hospital on New Year's Eve, and
Hey, you got let out on my birthday.
I really nice.
I guess that was a birthday present. Sweet.
Yeah. Um, and then from then I then had uh, nurses and stuff for for 3 months, and then after that they left, and it was up to me to continue progressing. And the best thing I found about that was just to be away from the healthcare professionals who are so risk adverse. You don't do anything, and I was like, no, I need to do this. I need to go and do another master's. They're like, no, don't do that. And I was like, I want to go back to Glastonbury because I've been there hundreds of times to a music festival, and they were like, no, don't do that. So I did them all. I did everything the staff said not to, and
So the no's were like fuel for the fire.
yeah. I mean, at that point, I, I was an angry bastard, but I was like, fine, you say no, I'm definitely gonna do it.
That's it. Hey, I didn't need a brain or a brain trauma to think that way. I think that way every single day. Someone tells me what to do, I'm like, nope, I'm gonna do the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you don't like to feel your life is structured, man. You don't want to feel like everybody's listed out of things for you to do for the day, man. Too much of our life now is already based on what other people want us to do. Why are we not doing what we want to be doing?
Yeah, totally. And that was completely it. I mean, the fact that I'm alive is incredible in itself. Um, but you've got to reinvent your life and start again, and that's slow, and that takes a lot of patience, and takes a lot of no, I'm going to do that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't even understand when you're dealing with brain injury. That first of all, coming back from that is not something like, it's going to be quick. It's not going to be a couple months. It's going to be years. Like, it takes a very, very long time to keep kind of coming back to where you were before and also improve.
Yeah,
And like, it's social things. Do you find yourself a little bit more, I guess, introvert when it comes to going to social gatherings? Like you don't really find yourself talking to a lot of people. You don't find yourself going out as much as you used to because you feel like people consider you being difficult.
And no. I mean, I've made many new friends, um, and yeah, socializing isn't a problem. I like it. It's just, yeah, money's more of a problem with socializing.
Why is money more of a problem with socializing?
Well, because I don't have a job. Well, I do have a job, but it's not paying me yet. It's waiting for me to get the work that I'm supposed to create.
Do you
Yeah.
find do you find it like the people should be taking care of you for that? At least you should be getting some money from the government or something for your experience.
Well, I do get disability benefits, yeah. So that's the money I have, which isn't a lot. It's just enough to to keep you going.
Do you find it a lot of people get or they kind of just trying to understand memory in a way? Do you think a lot of people kind of seems, I guess, starstruck a little bit? Like what? Like I don't understand what you're saying. Like with memory, because your memory's slowly coming back. So people are going to take that you don't remember something. Are they taking it in strides that they understand you went through an accident? Or are they taking it as you might not care?
No, I mean, I, yeah, people understand what I've been through, um, and I know that's the great thing about the work I'm doing at the moment. There, it's an organisation that works with students who are disabled or neurodiverse, and there have been a couple of times in the office where people have been like, "What? Don't say that." But then they realise that I'm different, and that's for that they can accept it.
Yeah. For if you had to give one piece of advice for someone out there who it feels like they can't accomplish anything, just they don't even have to experience a brain injury, but the fact that they just think their life is crap, what would you say to them after everything you've went through?
I'd say you've got to work it out. You there are for everybody there are problems in the road, uh, and the best way to sort it out is to start thinking about what's really important to you and how you want to achieve it, and have some patience. Just think about it, work it out. The steps you need to take to get there, and you'll get there eventually.
Yeah. I mean, you had to retrain your brain in ways that help you be able to function after your accident. And people need to retrain their train of thought nowadays. People are just not the real base person that you're trying to get anymore. It always seems like they're putting on some type of cover or disguise.
Yeah, and yeah, stop being like that. Be true to yourself. Be true about your own desires and wants, and then start thinking about how you're going to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, you know what, Ben? It was awesome having you on my podcast, man, for real. It's awesome to hear that someone out there is motivated and getting thinking of things of an optimistic light, which we don't see too much in the world anymore, especially after something severely that you went through. I can't complain about having a sprained leg. I can't complain about these small little things because the fact you're able to still keep innovating and still being able to pursue what you want to do with life based after your accident is amazing.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, well, think about it in terms of your own life and what you want to achieve. I mean, you can make it happen. It might just take a little while.
Life isn't. I mean, everyone thinks of life being so quick, but you have to just enjoy the little things, enjoy the moments, take a deep breath.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Well, Ben, it was awesome having you on, and I hope to have you on again soon.